We have a $12,000 house that we built ourselves.
So, General John Stark has an incredible life with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of adventure.
We are homeschooling. We are 3 years on the road in a self-converted off-grid school bus. Might get some pictures of it outside if we're lucky. You could say something like, so I got to work this morning and a big old school bus pulled in and blocked my parking lot. Space.
So we're going outside, we're gonna get a tour of their mobile home converted from a school bus. We're gonna check this out, I'm excited to see. And okay, let's go. Craig, we'll be back soon.
Hey everyone, it's Mike. I'm here at the local Silver Mint, but we're closed today. The reason I'm here is I'm editing the video that you're watching right now. But in the editing process, I realized I wanted to add a little bit of an explanation of what was going on that day. So a traveling homeschooling family made local Silver Mint a destination as part of their experience, their homeschool curriculum that they provide their daughters. And before we started filming, Silver Dave gave them the grand tour of the local Silver Mint, explained silver, what we do, fractional silver, taught them a lesson about the history of money, silver and gold. Thought, wow, that would have made a great video. So we actually invited them to come back, and they were willing to share on camera. So what you'll see in this video is a tour of their beautiful house that they travel around with, them telling us a little bit about what they're doing, and then they were traveling here from Ware, New Hampshire to Bennington, Vermont, the route that General John Stark took during his Revolutionary War campaign. So because I know a little bit of the story of the life of John Stark and how it is interwoven with the history of New Hampshire, the Revolutionary War, this area, and the places they were visiting, I decided to tell them the story that I knew, giving them a little bit of a history lesson. So it was an absolute blessing to meet this family. It was a highlight of my day, if not my week or my month. They were very genuinely happy and sincere, joyful, wholesome family that was really a blessing to meet them and to get to know them. So I'm glad we were able to also share that experience with you, and thank you to them for being willing to be on camera and share with all of you. Please enjoy the video. Beautiful day out.
Oh yeah, just another layer. Yeah, like get a lot of things. Oh yeah, the bus would be. But on the surface area, so
Let's put the 3 kids up here with Rochelle, and then we'll step in. All right. Let's your little.
This is our bus. We call it Bob Jr. We started with the short Bob, and we upgraded to Bob Jr. He's always bigger. And welcome to our home.
All right.
like the handrail. Oh wow! Wow! Nice tables. Nice floor too, actually.
Welcome into our schoolie. This is a 2000 International, big old diesel under there. It started out as a yellow bus with kid seats in there. It is from Eastern Washington State. It was a high school activity bus, so it was 6'6" to begin with. We did a full conversion, a full 4-season off-grid conversion. We have insulation, we have wood paneling everywhere. I come from the coast of Maine. It is built as a sailboat would be built. Because we are going down the road. It's like driving an earthquake down the road every day. The bus is made with shipping pallets, old highway signs, a beautiful tree that had washed down, a river that we bucked up for wood. We have a roof full of solar panels, and we run our fridge and freezer behind Dave here off the sunshine. We have gigantic farmhouse sinks and some dirty dishes, as every bus should have. There is lights and sirens.
Well, that's not from the bus, so we're getting pulled over. No.
We've cut out
This thing go
windows
faster.
for visibility.
And
to
natural
see out.
light.
Yep.
It's like surprisingly cool in here. It doesn't feel hot. I
Sitting
would
in
have
the
thought
sunshine.
it was gonna be like really hot in here, and that's not running, but it seems nice and relaxing, cool.
We try and keep it chill.
Keeping it chill.
We've got a vintage 1950s travel trailer propane oven and stove that someone was discarding. We picked that up. That was great. We have a small little head in here. I'll slip out of the way.
Wow.
It is a dry head. And then towards the back of the bus, we've got bunk spaces on either side. And then a far back bedroom. That's a queen size bedroom. There's a raised floor.
Seth, you could take the film out of the
Yeah.
skylight.
Oh,
Go ahead and
there's
just
two
push the
beds
door
here
right open.
also.
Yep. Go for it.
Oh, there's a kitty.
There's a cat back there.
Yep.
Our self-defense is on the back
Wow.
wall.
So you got a whole bedroom, and you got beds right here. This is such an incredibly efficient use of this space.
Yep.
You're also standing on top of storage. So that wooden plank that you were just walking
Yeah.
on lifts up, and it's all storage under the floor there.
Wow.
We carry 150 gallons of fresh water
Wow.
in 3 50-gallon barrels, which are the height of the girls' beds. We have lithium-ion batteries and absorbed glass mat AGM batteries on 2 independent solar systems. We run propane for all of our cooking, and right now we're averaging about $100 a year to cook.
Wow.
The bus itself was a $6,000 bus, and we chose this bus. We wanted this length, we wanted the engine, we wanted the transmission, we wanted the turning radius. It took us months to find it. The whole conversion has been about $6,000.
In addition to the 6,000 of the bus.
95% of the wood has been repurposed, reclaimed, reused. So right now we have a $12,000 house that we built ourselves. And
That also
that's-
can go wherever you want to take it.
Wherever we want.
And that's how we can afford to not work our asses off in life
That's
for
how
at least a few years.
That's
So
how we
you
can
live instead of
afford-
work every day.
Right. That's how we can afford to live our lives with our girls at their young age and truly experience them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, inspiring, incredible, ingenious.
I'm gonna get a picture of
Great
Silver
job.
Blade in my bus right now. I don't know why I missed out on this. Hello there, my name is Seth, my wife Rochelle, our 3 daughters, and we are currently traveling across the United States in a converted school bus. While traveling, there's many spots that we like to stop. Some of those might be beautiful natural parks, national parks, campgrounds, the ocean. We've come from Portland, Oregon,
It took 3 years.
all the way to Portland, Maine, and now we're going back. And one of the few spots that we've decided to stop along the way, for many, many reasons, is a spot. Local Silverman. This here in Ware, New Hampshire has been on my radar for the last few months, ever since I first ran across some of those awesome YouTube videos that Silver Days does. While we're underway traveling the country, we have had a chance to go back in time with American history. We were in Oklahoma City for the land rush in the 1880s, and then we've traveled across the country reenacting through museums, state capitals, and what do we call it?
Living history museums.
All
Love
the way,
them.
Yep, all the way back to Jamestown settlement, and then up and through New England.
Yeah.
One thing that I, as a conscious adult and familiar with the world situation and the currencies in life, I have really loved silver and gold for as long as I can remember. It makes a different ting and ping, and when you're holding that weight in your hand, you know you've got something tangible. While we all live on the fiat dollars that we get in life, this isn't a sales pitch, but one of the things that inspired me to make sure we came here to this location, and we have visited coin shops all around. This was slightly out of our way and well worth it because they've got a similar mindset. They'll talk, they'll walk, and they'll back it up, I'm sure of that. So we got a chance to come and see a beautiful array with a good, comfortable setting and take the chance to educate our children about what real value is in life. We are homeschooling. We are 3 years on the road in a self-converted off-grid school bus. Might get some pictures of it outside if we're lucky, so you'll see. And
we take every opportunity that comes our way to provide an education for our girls that is hands-on, real life. So this, for us, is definitely the hands-on and real life all wrapped up into one. We do also like doing the history and ancient architect, so we've been hitting up a ton of the Capitol State buildings. It's amazing to see the differences between the different states and the different buildings. And the girls have picked up on it. They're learning about legislature and the Senate and the House and all of it. But it always does come back to the gold and silver.
Knowing what is valuable in life. There are very, very few seniors in life that will ever tell you they wished that they had worked more at the job or bought a faster car or had a bigger house. Every single person you talk to will say, I wish that I had more time with the ones I love. We've bucked the system. It hasn't been easy. We're getting by. And one thing that was more important to us than anything else was exposing ourselves to new things, learning new things, spending a lot of time together, because that, at the end of the day, is wealth that I have inside me that nobody can take. It doesn't get taxed, it doesn't depreciate, it only gets better.
Do you girls have anything to add?
That's awesome.
One of the neat things that these guys do here, which we're hoping to see, is that there's a couple of secret locations where they've got hot forges and ball bearings of silver BBs, and there's magic that happens, and voila, they make their own silver pieces here, which is really cool. And they are 1/10 ounces, branded house stamped local silver mint in little mini baggies, and they are so cool. It's more than a novelty. It is a unique purchase that is awesome to make. And if you're ever thinking about supporting local, you would try and find the local in the silver mint. So we've got a couple of those. There was a tube of them, which is a pretty cool deal. There's a couple little bags. And then the kids got some 1/10 gram little playing cards.
They got to pick them out themselves. Yeah.
While I have been in the precious metals lightly for many, many years and have seen the prices fluctuate, usually I'm the one walking in through the door, making the decision, making the purchase. And this was the first time and place that
I got to walk in and buy my own piece of gold.
because she felt comfortable enough and it was friendly enough. And while I've been in and out of coin shops for years, I very rarely see women in there making purchases. Many times they're actually selling. So it's cool to feel comfortable and confident and welcome enough to come in and admit that we're new to things.
Yeah.
I don't know yet, let's find out. So to go in, feel comfortable and make a purchase, as small or as big as you could, you got to start somewhere.
So thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It
Thank
was
you.
a lucky
Thank
one
you.
for me. Thank you.
Wow, what a great family. Thank you so much.
So, your mom was just telling me that you guys were going to be traveling to Bennington, and since you're in Ware, New Hampshire, and you're traveling down that way into Vermont, it reminded me of the story of General John Stark, who was a Revolutionary War general, and he's got a lot of landmarks in this area between here and there. So I thought I would tell you the story of his life and his role in the Revolutionary War campaign. Does that sound good? So, General John Stark has an incredible life with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of adventure. His life story is woven in with the history of the early history of New Hampshire, with this area, with the early history of the country, with the Army Special Forces, with the Revolutionary War, of course, and even the state motto of New Hampshire. So, in his early life, he grew up in a homestead farm right outside of Manchester. I believe it's the west side of Manchester. Oh wait, no, Manchester runs, it might be the north side. The north side of Manchester, what is now Stark Park. Across the street, there is a historic house, which is either the same farmhouse or where their farmhouse was. And then there's down the hill to the Merrimack River is a sloping park, which was the Stark Farm, where he grew up. Early on in his life, when he was like a teenager, he went on a kayaking trip, or a canoeing trip, sorry, in 2 canoes with 2 friends. So it was he and a friend in a canoe, and then his brother and a friend. And it was serious business to go on a long trip from home back then. You had to take a lot of risks, and you're really responsible for your own safety and your own survival. When they were up in some lakes in northern New Hampshire, they actually encountered natives who were kind of hostile at the time, and they were hostile towards them. And John Stark was able to distract them for long enough and warn the other canoe that they were confronting these hostile people, so they turned away and they were able to be saved. But he and his friend were captured. Now, they took them into their tribe, and they were essentially prisoners. And they were going to face a gauntlet where the warriors of the tribe were going to like hit them with these like switches, these branches, and they had to run through these 2 columns, and it was a really brutal thing. His friend went through first, and then John Stark's turn was to go through this. Now what he did was, he ran right up to the first warrior and snatched the rod out of his hand and started hitting him with it so aggressively, and overwhelmed them with just sheer, like aggression, that all the warriors of this like battle-hardened tribe of grown men were cowering, like they didn't want to go anywhere near him. And the chief of this tribe was so impressed by this display of courage and bravery, that he actually decided to adopt John Stark into their tribe. So he gave him adopted parents, and he actually became part of this tribe, and he lived with these Native Americans for a period of time during his early life. And during this time, I believe it was the French and Indian War. Now you're going to have to go and maybe do some reading and verify some of these facts. I just have some of this memorized. I might get a few things wrong. But I believe it was the French and Indian War broke out, so there was conflict. And John Stark actually was fighting as part of this tribe, as a warrior in their tribe, until they were actually going to come down and attack like his home where he's from. And he said, I can't do it. And the chief had so much respect for him that he just let him go and let him return back home. So he ends up being a soldier. He joins the British regulars, and he stands out probably because of this incredible journey he's had in his life up to this point. He stands out as a soldier, and he joins what will eventually turn into Special Forces, and the Army Rangers are named after this group, which was Rogers Rangers. So there's like a famous document of all of these highly specialized skills that these soldiers had. they had to be able to walk through the woods so stealthily that they wouldn't even spook a deer if they came across it. And they had to be able to march at a high speed for a long period of time, and all of these really high standards. So at the time, this was like the elite soldiers in the British Army. So he becomes an officer, and he is a really decorated military soldier at this point in his life, and he's retiring from military service, and he's a little bit older to be a soldier, and then the Revolutionary War breaks out, and he feels an obligation to return to military service. So he joins the Continental Army, and he's like a colonel or something like this. And the Revolutionary War takes place, and we have the early battles. You know, there's Lexington, then there's a battle of, and the United States lost a lot of the early battles. Washington, it was a really struggle. We were losing, and John Stark, because he was very gifted in strategy and tactics, he was really frustrated that these other colonels and these generals didn't know the tactics, didn't have as good tactics as he did. So eventually someone got promoted to be a general, and not out of like ego or anything, he just knew he had better military strategy. He decided to, he couldn't stand for that. He couldn't allow this person to lead the military campaign in a way that wasn't as good as he could have or that we needed to do. So he quits. He leaves the Continental Army. He goes back to New Hampshire, and he talks the New Hampshire legislature into allowing him to muster his own militia. So he goes town to town in this area and musters volunteers to join his militia. And he fights an independent Revolutionary War campaign. And he ends up going to all of the pivotal battles. He goes, he hears the British are maneuvering and that the Continental Army isn't gonna quite be able to counter them. So he goes to the Battle of Bennington. He goes to Bennington, Vermont. And he's the hero of the Battle of Bennington. And he overwhelms the British soldiers out of sheer aggression, and he takes, his soldiers take British regulars, you know, experienced soldiers, his New Hampshire militia, inexperienced soldiers go and overwhelm the British, and they surrender, and he takes the British soldiers prisoner at a ratio of like 20-1. They were outnumbered incredibly, and he's the hero of Battle of Bennington. He was known to charge first, to lead from the front, to charge first into battle. He had his wife, Molly Stark, and he was famous for saying, either we will be victorious in this battle, or Molly Stark will die a widow tonight, which means all or nothing. We're either going to win or we're going to lose. There's no surrendering, there's no halfway. So he goes to the Battle of Bennington, then he maneuvers, he gets to the Battle of Saratoga in time. I think, now here's where my history gets a little fuzzy, I just hit the kind of the highlights. He may have actually came down to either the New York or the Boston area and bailed out George Washington at some point. I'm not really sure of all of the everything, but I know that he ends up going to the Battle of Saratoga, which is the turning point of the Revolutionary War, and it's a national park that, you know, might be an interesting place to go and visit. I'm from Saratoga Springs, so it's part of the reason why I know so much about this. And he also is the deciding factor in winning the Battle of Saratoga. And so he helps the United States win the revolution against the British. He finally retires from military service as an older man. He retires to his farm, and at the 10-year anniversary of the Battle of Bennington, all the soldiers meet at the Battle of Bennington to commemorate the anniversary, but he's at this point in his life, his health is starting to fail on him, so he can't make it. So they're like, we need you to come and give the toast. No one can give the toast, it has to be you. come down, you'll be the highlight, the key speaker, and he can't make it. But he tells them to deliver a toast on his behalf. And his toast is, live free or die. Death is not the worst of evils. So that's where the state motto of the state of New Hampshire comes from.
That's great. That's a good little pause.
Well, thank you very much. This has been fun.
Thank you, Dave.
You're very
It's been
welcome.
a blast hanging out here.
So
Good.
typically after all of this, when we give our tours, there's one little fun secret that I really like to divulge. My wife is the primary driver of this bus. She had 5,000 miles under her belt through cities and over the Continental Divide and through the Badlands of South Dakota before I had 5 feet of driving. That's pretty
It's
awesome.
true.
Wow.
And it's all in my name. Yeah, I bought it, I registered it, it's my insurance.
Cool.
This is
My home.
Nice.
Yeah.
kind of fun.
And we are a family that does a little bit on social media, Instagram and YouTube, and we are Simple Life Adventure.
Oh,
Simple life
that's your channel.
adventure.
Great.
Simple Life Adventure on YouTube.
Life is
Awesome.
either simple
YouTube,
but still full
Instagram.
of adventures, or life is a big adventure. It is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow. Well, fantastic, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great to meet you. And
Pleasure,
thanks
sir.
for the tour.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. All right. That's funny.
Okay. You get to do the full shake.
Good job. All right. All right. Great job, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks.
You.
Thank
We
you,
will
guys.
see you
Thank you for the history.
in the
Yep.
future. And
Thanks for
on
listening
TV.
to my little talk.
Of course.
Do you mind if I just get some kind of B-roll exterior?
The other side is pretty good. You're a little higher up on the berm
It's in
too.
the shadows, though.
We just, of course, watch out for license plates, but
Roger.
you got that.
Yep.
B-roll.
Mike, I'll see you inside.
Okay, Dave.
Folks, and have fun.
Dave, I'm joining this family now. I'm running away from home.
First,
I'm gonna quit my job.
you guys want an extra kid? It's kind of like less mature probably than your kids, but taller.
You can sleep in the hallway.
All right. All right. Bye-bye. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Good luck on your journey. Wish you the best. Thanks for stopping by. We're truly blessed and honored to have you.
Thank you.
That's
It,
been
it
fun.
It's been
was
great.
It was fun coming in, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well worth the stop.
All right.
Great.